Can AI make a better anime live action adaptation than Hollywood? The reason I asked this question is because I came across a video that kind of blew me away just a little bit. So yeah, let's talk about it. All right, so I want to show you guys this clip really fast. Basically, it's like a AI live action adaptation of Yu-Gi-Oh! And like a lot of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Characters and how they would look in live action. But of course, AI sort of generating the anime hairstyle and aesthetic and face features, all of that stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, like when I first saw it, I was kind of like, whoa, you know, like this is kind of crazy. Obviously, it's still very AI looking, but it was kind of crazy. Like the fact that AI just generated all of that in video form, like that's kind of wild. And again, it's still, you know, AI, early AI at that. And, you know, there's a lot of things where you could be like, okay, that's not, you know, that doesn't look all that great or whatever. But there were some parts in that clip where I'm like, it don't look too bad, if I can say that. But the real scary part about this is that this is only early AI. Like this is still the beginning phase of AI and what AI can do. That like, if, you know, years go on, time goes on, like imagine if AI is just able to make full-on anime live action movies like this, or like with this design and like 10 times better looking in motion. Like that's kind of the crazy part to think about. Now, since we're on the subject of AI making anime live action and potentially making it better than Hollywood, I also kind of wanted to show you guys something else that I found. Basically, this guy had made a JJK Gojo clip using free AI tools. And when I first saw this video, it kind of reminded me of, you know, J. Alex Rosa, who does insane, amazing VFX work, and specifically making anime characters into a live action looking style of, you know, VFX green screen animation. He does amazing work, Shout outs to him. But that's kind of what this made me think of, except, you know, just way less quality wise. However, it's just the fact that he was able to do this. This guy was able to make this video, this clip of Gojo with free AI, you know, and versus J. Alex Rosa, who's, you know, doing all of this stuff, you know, with VFX and just a lot of hard work that goes into that. Whereas this guy kind of just did this pretty quickly, right, with AI. And again, you could argue that, well, he still did some work, like it's not just all AI generated, but still though, like, I mean, again, I would say the Yu-Gi-Oh clip is a lot more, you know, AI generated and kind of more of the focus of this video particularly. But I did also want to address, you know, the AI free tools that were in this video that the guy made of JJK Gojo clip. I think that was also kind of interesting, I guess, because, you know, it's shortening the gap of someone like, you know, just an average Joe to make something that, you know, as quality and as amazing as J. Alex Rosa is doing. And it's all because of AI. AI is shortening that gap. There's still the argument of, you know, someone is still doing the work, someone is still putting in work to be done to, you know, sort of guide the AI and like what to do. But, you know, AI is definitely getting to a point where, you know, these films or an anime live action film might just come down to these big business heads being like, okay, AI, this is what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of, you know, what I'm getting at is like, well, yeah, someone's still telling you what to do, but if AI is doing like a lot of that, it's still gonna make a lot of the jobs that a lot of us artists do, or like, you know, we're needed to do, like actors, voice acting, VFX artists, all of that stuff. If AI just takes over all of that, it's still kind of ruining the, you know, creative integrity, and it's basically gonna take a lot of those people out of the job if AI can just generate all of that. Again, people can still tell it what to do, but if the main people that we would normally need for an anime live action film, we no longer need because of AI, that's where things get a little bit tricky. So before we go on, I kind of want to get a sense of your guys' opinion on what you think, more so of that first clip with the Yu-Gi-Oh! AI generated anime live action style. Like if you're watching this right now, how would you rate that video or that clip of like 1 out of 10? How well do you think AI did at creating anime live action of Yu-Gi-Oh, like in the style of like the designs, the characters, and how they look in motion? Like what would you rate that out of 10? I'm just curious. Cause yeah, based on that rating that you guys just put in the comments or gave yourselves mentally, that brings up the question of, is this really a problem? Like, does this strike the warning sign for all filmmakers that are interested in making anime live action adaptations? Like, is this the end? Is this near doom? Does this negate the need to hire filmmakers to make an adaptation, more specifically a live action adaptation of anime properly? Or does this replace VFX artists? Now, you know, the whole AI debate, I mean, it's really a problem that goes far deeper than just anime and live action. But the reason I would argue that this could be a problem particularly more for anime in live action right now is just because of the main issues that live action anime has. Like when it comes to properly casting actors for anime characters, it's a very sensitive subject because everyone kind of just assumes that, you know, the entire cast should be Asian because it's anime. So obviously it's, oh, Japanese. That means, you know, every anime is just only full of Japanese people. And, you know, there's not a single person that makes manga or anime that could make a world that's not existing in Japan because, you know, like, I don't know. It's just anime fans being kind of ignorant and thinking that all anime is only in Asia. It's kind of like, you know, how Marvel superheroes, you have like, a lot of these people are in New York, right? And like a lot of, that's to say that like every superhero that Marvel ever had was like only in America or only in New York. And like, that's just not true. Like, it's not like everyone, all these creators' minds can only think of one country to where all these stories take place. Like, and we see that with One Piece. Like One Piece, you know, there's so many different races within the different characters in that world. Like one of the most popular anime and manga to exist out there isn't only based of all Japanese characters. So I don't know why people kind of just make that assumption all the time, but they do. And the majority of the time it's just anime fans being ignorant, but it is what it is. It's like, if you guys remember when Scarlett Johansson got casted as, you know, the Major in Ghost in the Shell live action, and, you know, there was like this whole drama where like everyone was like, oh, well, she shouldn't be casted as, you know, her because she's white and like it's an anime, so the Major's supposed to be Japanese. And like the funny thing is, the irony was that really the only ones that were having an issue were American people, right? But in actuality, like, I mean, it's funny, right? Because Ghost in the Shell isn't even really that big in Japan. But the reality of the situation is that the Major Scarlett Johansson played, there wasn't really a race attached to her. She was a body, a shell, so to speak. So it shouldn't have really mattered. Like, she was a robot, and the whole drama behind it was kind of dumb. I mean, obviously you would want like a big star to kind of play a character, you know, for the star power and like for like something that Hollywood could actually sell. But also, I mean, for something like that, a role that's like not attached to any race, it just makes less sense why people would get mad at her for not being Asian when it was never, you know, like, and I mean, again, this is one of the things where it's like, it's a touchy subject because on one hand, yeah, you could argue that, you know, the major was Asian because of her name, and in the show, it's like, you know, you could argue that she was supposed to be Asian, right? Although I will say, I guess it's kind of spoilers, but if you haven't seen the movie, you wouldn't really know what I'm talking about anyway. But in the movie, the live action Ghost in the Shell with Scarlett Johansson, they explain why she's not Asian. They even have an Asian actress of who she's supposed to be. So it really makes even less sense why people were so upset, but that's probably because they haven't seen the movie and they wrote it off without watching it. Anyway, that's just one instance of drama happening just from people being casted to play an anime character, right? And that's probably one of the more notorious ones in Hollywood live action adaptations of anime anyway. But, you know, needless to say, it's a very touchy subject, right? I mean, even when the Netflix Death Note happened and we got Light Turner, like an American Light, it was weird, but obviously they changed a lot from what Death Note was. So there was more problems than just the cast, but that was an issue. Like, I remember people having that issue. I mean, L being black was also interesting. Diversity has always been a big issue in these Hollywood films and shows for a long time now, right? But when it comes to anime in live action, I feel like there's an extra layer to it. And like just that extra layer of sensitivity and how touchy the subject can be. But, you know, with something like this, AI essentially filling the roles of the actors and actresses, you can't necessarily argue if this person or that person should be casted. It kind of just eliminates the whole diversity problem because the race and gender and everything can just be inserted into this AI. And even if it isn't exactly how someone expects it to be, the actual race and age and other characteristics can all be argued of what they actually are because in reality, it's AI. Then, you know, you have other things that are controversial specifically for anime live action, like the design of the characters. Seeing this AI Yu-Gi-Oh clip and like how they have big eyes, the crazy hair, I mean, it doesn't look too great in motion, in my opinion, but you almost can't deny how good it looks in comparison to the anime counterpart, versus trying to recreate that look on a real person and having to worry if whether or not it'll come off as too cosplay-esque. So in a way, this would solve certain problems that a lot of people would grab pitchforks over, but I don't think this is the answer to making a good anime live action. Before we go any further, this is future Mondy speaking right now. Originally, I wanted to end this video off saying, you know, oh, at the end of the day, there's no way that AI can replace all the really hard and earnest work that us humans put into the craft of filmmaking. And you know, there's just no way that AI can ever replace the unparalleled talented actors that have given us insane performances over the years, and that some of them have dedicated their whole lives to playing a single role, or at the very least, a lot of their life. And you know, just everybody that's super hardworking and dedicated to their craft, the cameramen, the editors, the screenwriters, there's no way AI can just take away all that and replace that. That was my initial ending. However, as I'm editing this video now, I am finding more evidence to support that that may not be the case. I know I was gonna say that before, but now I think after seeing what I just saw, we may be in for the bad ending, my boys. And there's no point in me sugarcoating it. You guys need to see this for yourselves. So the first thing I want to show you guys is this clip I found of someone using an AI to replicate a woman acting. They're just showing her doing some different expressions. And yeah, it's kind of insane because they use this AI to make a live action scene of a woman doing different expressions and different emotions. And you know how I said before that, oh, there's no way they can, recreate or outdo some of the amazing performances from the talent and brilliant actors and actresses that we've had the pleasure of seeing on the big screen over the years, over all this time. But as you can see, some of these expressions and emotions that this AI is creating are insane, almost at the level of one of the best actors or actresses you could even think of. And when you think about it even further, this is AI creating this performance. If you wanted to hire an actress to pull off a performance of this level, you'd not only have to pay them a lot of money, but also you'd have to make sure they're okay. You'd have to take care of their well-being. If they're not feeling up to it, if, stuff goes down with them, if they get injured, all of these things could happen to where the actress may not be able to deliver. Whereas in AI, you just type the shit in and boom, there it is. The worst part is that this is just the beginning. This is just the early development of this AI. And it's already at this level. But you see how scary things can get. Just hearing me talk about the benefits of choosing an AI over a real actress or real actor and the liabilities that can come with hiring actors and actresses, I'm starting to scare myself into the bad future. Now, the second thing I want to show off is actually a little more relevant to anime and live action. Some of you guys may have seen this surface recently on the internet, but there is actually a Princess Mononoke live action recreation that was generated from AI. It's only the trailer of Princess Mononoke, but still, the fact that it kind of looks this good and someone just put this into AI is insane to me. Now, I will say there's a few things that look really weird. A lot of shots, the eyes don't exactly line up, or like the characters will be opening their eyes a little too much and it looks very creepy, or they'll be looking in the wrong direction. The eye lines don't exactly match what they should be looking at. Like, there's still a bit of AI kinks and bugs that probably need to be worked out, but still, I mean, for a first draft, like, this is insane. And it just confirms all the things I was talking about earlier in this video with how you don't need to worry about picking the right race or the right actor or actress to fill the role and worry about if people are gonna have a fit or complain about the design, complain about the character's eye color, the character's hair, the character's costume. Like, all of that stuff will no longer matter if you just tell AI to do it. It's ironic because all these issues, all these problems we argued so heavily over, I'm actually starting to miss those problems right about now, because at least it made the art real. At least it made it human. It might be an error to, make certain choices when making an anime live action, but at least it was human error. Now it's just like, Jesus. It's almost scary to think that this is actually the answer to solve all the problems that people have been complaining about anime live action for all this time. Like, I don't want to believe that that's the future that we're headed for, that this is the answer, but I don't know. Now, the last thing I want to show you guys is actually this YouTube channel that I found called Abandoned Films. They do a lot of interesting things, and some of the stuff that they post is actually really cool. But basically they post a lot of trailers and, I guess, projects that are all AI generated, and they recreate live action versions of properties like Legend of Zelda, Super Smash Bros, just a bunch of different things, but they do it in a very old 1950s style, and it's AI generated live action. Like I said, some of it is actually really cool, and it's just pretty cool to see and look at and be like, oh wow. But it's just another example that I found to kind of support my point and play into the idea of this video. But yeah, AI, I think, is no longer in just the phase of like, oh man, this is crazy, but there's still no way it's gonna ever take our jobs. Now I think we're getting into that intermediate state of like, AI is slowly but surely getting there, and we should be worried. So yeah, I hate to break it to y'all, but this could be the bad ending, the future that we are headed for. AI takes over everything. There's no more heart and soul put into these live action adaptations anymore. Anime live action will be AI generated. And for sure, with the anime fan base and all the complaints from people that I've made earlier in this video, anime live action would for sure be the first thing that people would use AI for. But maybe, just maybe, my little interruption here may have broken the bad future timeline. We may have actually saved the future. And now we can get back to the idea of, I think when it comes to making a good live action project in general, not just necessarily an adaptation of an anime, but a live action movie, show, anything, so many factors come into play, right? It's the music, the script, the acting, the world building, you know, the beats, everything, right? In a lot of cases, it all comes together and it makes this really beautiful piece of art, right? And that's due to the hard work of, you know, the cameramen, the lighting, the gaffers, you know, the producers, the directors, the actors, everybody, right? And for AI to kind of just replace all of that, I want to say I don't think we'll ever get to that point, but I mean, who knows, right? Who really knows what the future holds? But from the very least, I think we can say from this clip that, you know, AI making this does not mean it's going to be doing all of the things I just mentioned, right? The reason why film is so hard and it's so hard to make a movie that everyone just likes and enjoys is because it's such a collaborative form of art. And like just one mistake in one department could mean really bad reception for the movie, you know? So will AI ever make, you know, masterclass scripts or learn how to light properly for, you know, every type of shot, or, you know, be able to program itself to know what's going to be the most interesting shot for every scene, or nail, you know, the acting performances that can only be delivered from humans that have been dedicating their entire life to this, or in a lot of cases, dedicating a lot of time to their roles, and not just, you know, mentally, but also physically too. I don't think AI is getting to that point anytime soon. So safe to say, I think we are good when it comes to AI stealing our jobs and making anime live action for now. But how long will that last is the question. And I would love to know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. But yeah, and while you're at it, you might as well leave a like and subscribe to the channel. You'd already know. Hey, your boy putting in mad work to try and give y'all, you know, some really interesting ideas, some really interesting videos, and, you know, just talk about how anime can be done right in live action. And it's what I live for. It's what my channel is all about. Me being a passionate filmmaker that's very, very passionate about anime, as you can see from everything behind me. So yeah, if you guys like this video or this conversation and you want to see more stuff like this, hey, you already know what to do. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. That would help me out a ton. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll see y'all in the next video.